Then it's on to step 4.
Yeah.
Step 4, stage 4, for everyone following the cue cards. This is everyone's favorite section. This is the section on accepting a job offer. I like that section very much. How to navigate a job offer is a good problem to have. What are some points that we should make sure we cover when we're anticipating or in the process of accepting or evaluating an offer?
In some cultures, you do not have the ability to negotiate a job offer. And in the United States, you often do have some ability to negotiate. It may depend, but you can test that. And there are several things that you may want to test the water. Often, the hiring manager has not given the full amount of money in the offer. They're holding back a little bit because they know you may come back and ask for a little bit more money. But if you ask for 3 or 4 or 5 things, they are likely to try to give you 2 of them because they want you to be happy. Right. So you need to say, I'm going to ask for several things and see what they maybe can do a little better because they want me. It might be negotiating the start date. It might be that there are a certain number of paid vacation days. And you, because you need to get to India once or twice a year, you need more days, either paid or unpaid. You may put that on the table and say, I really would like to have 5 other days that are paid vacation days because I do want to return to India once a year. You may want to have something about flexibility of your workday. All kinds of things that you could suggest that could be monetary, or they also could be about vacation days. They could be about start, and you can discuss that. But if you just accept it as it is, there's not a problem with that, but you may not be getting what you want. And often when I'm talking to HR professionals, I explain to them that, the international candidates may need some additional flexibility, particularly for travel.
Okay. That is an amazing point. This is the idea of, we have this job offer, but let's not lose sight of our quality of life. Let's not lose sight of why we're working. we're not working just to work. We're looking to, right?
And the other thing, though, that I do discuss is there's 2 different ways that you could ask this. One is you might say, you've offered me this. I really want this. And you can say it in a way that's like, if I don't get it, I don't want the job. And this is going to be an unpleasant person. Or you can say, I am so excited about starting work. But I have a few things I would like to request if these are possible. And I give some very specific language in the book because you want the hiring manager, Stuart, Betsy, you want us to say, oh, she really wants to work with us, but she is asking for a few other things. What can we give her? What can we do to sweeten this a little bit? We don't want to say, oh my gosh, what a rude person. We really don't want her. We're going to withdraw the offer.
Right. I mean, that is still, you're still in a sense being interviewed even up into those stages, right? And it's an at will work environment. So we need to be putting our best foot forward in how we, construe those messages, convey ourselves, having a coach or mentor to overlook those messages. I think that in my 12-week career accelerator program, that is probably the thing that I do the most of, because we have one aspect of the coaching is an instant messaging type of capacity where people can run things by me throughout the day. And a lot of it is email. A lot of it is, hey, how is the tone here? And I find myself less and less having to work with grammar or spelling or things like that. But mostly, are you constructing an email where you're really making your point well? And are you using language that is gentle, which is positive, which is pleasant?
Yes.
In your
and
ask.
I think the value that Stuart's text would be to give you the confidence that you have said it right, and that you said it in a respectful, positive way that's going to leave a good impression. I think that's going to be so valuable in the coaching that Stuart gives you.
One thing that we started to do, thank you. One thing that we started to do was to actually work with, so each client creates what I call an email library. So we create a doc, usually it's a Google Doc, and for every situation, so people are coming in, how does this, first of all, how does this look? And we tweak it, we get to the final draft, and then the client can put it into their library, which they take for their life. Right? So my job as a career coach is not to have someone constantly asking how to create that request to connect or that follow-up message. It's to have that library so that it becomes intuitive. It has to kind of become part of us. That's kind of how we rise up to become that professional that we want to be, whether it's at Google or Goldman Sachs. We are rising to that level of professionalism that we want to attain and it becomes internal.
Well, and that's so important because the person reading your correspondence with them and your communication, they have unconscious bias. And just like they have an unconscious bias against certain names, they have an unconscious bias if you're not using the language in a way that is the way we use it.
Right.
So, for example, sometimes international people write me and they write, my dearest Betsy. And I write, when I'm coaching people, I say, don't address it as my dearest Betsy, dear Betsy. But it's not my dearest Betsy, because when you write things that don't sound right, that may make the person reading it feel you're not going to be a good fit. Right. So I think the kind of language that Stuart helps with is so important in that document, and sharing all the kinds of letters and correspondence so that you sound right.
Yeah, internalizing that, sounding right, and then internalizing that over a period of time.